Okay, well, good morning, everyone. We are Griffith Business School. My name is Megan. I have got Grace, Josh, and Murooj, who is online. So, question first up. Has anyone here seen Friends? Yes? Awesome. Okay, so you'll all know Joey doesn't like to share pizza. And like Joey doesn't like to share pizza or food, people don't necessarily like to share their health data. So, we want to teach the Joeys of the world how they can share their food on their terms through dynamic consent using pizza. So, dynamic consent presents a challenge. We want to simplify this, the concept of consent through an example that we're all familiar with, data as pizza. So, for example, you may be happy to share your pizza with loved ones, but not with strangers. And similarly with health data, you may not want to share your health data with strangers, or you may be happy to share some of it. But consumers may not understand how they can do this or how their health data will be used. Therefore, a broad understanding of dynamic consent is needed. As dynamic consent is an ongoing behavior that requires multiple actions, it can be considered a complex behavior. And to change complex behaviors, we need to address three main constructs: motivation, opportunity, and ability, also known as the MOA framework. By using the MOA framework, our proposed solution today are mapped on three constructs. We aim to increase ability, to provide opportunity to give consent, and to keep people motivated, to motivate people to stay engaged with the tool, Now, let me pass it over to Grace, who will talk a little bit more about our target group.
Thank you. When creating a tool for such a broad consumer base, it's really difficult to figure out what barriers these different groups may face, as they all have unique data within themselves. Using the dimensions of concern for privacy and technological and medical literacy, we have been able to make 4 archetypes for potential groups of data holders. As you can see, we have Group 1, which would be our broad future consent people, and we have Group 2, who would be unlikely to use the website willingly. Solutions for Group 3 and 4 are what we are mainly targeting, as they are our dynamic consent people, and we hope to facilitate that consent through this tool. Our solutions are mainly targeted at the Group 4 on the edge people, who would be technologically literate and able to use the technology, but may not understand their rights as a data holder and how to facilitate the consent process. Through this tool, we are providing the opportunity for consent through this system, which is designed for different needs and unique users. And part of the solution is proposing something through a familiar concept, which is a digital platform.
So, as Grace mentioned, we are proposing a holistic platform. It's your data, your say. As you can see on the slide, we have a proposed layout of the platform, which will take the consumer on a journey. So when entering the page, you'll get an option to sign up to the platform. In the orange box over there, we can see the little video formats, which will educate the consumers about dynamic consent, such as, how can I share my pizza? Next to this, we have our alert function. This will notify participants of research they're eligible to participate in, such as, can we use a slice of your pizza? Then we have our dashboard, which allows consumers to track their engagement, such as how much pizza have I shared, what are the benefits, and who have I helped? And lastly, down the bottom, we have a little chat function, which will allow for ongoing communication between consumers, data custodians, and researchers to facilitate ongoing communication and consent. And gives you an option to ask questions like about sharing your pizza. So let's go through each of these components in detail. Now, the video is an integral part. It is an educational video that explains what dynamic consent is, utilizing the pizza analogy. The video will integrate the different levels of consent and explore the consumer's ability in maintaining control of their data, and elaborate on how the data is shared. It will feature a humorous appeal, the pizza, to engage the consumer and captivate their attention. For first-time visitors, the video will appear as a pop-up and plays automatically. On subsequent visits, this pop-up will no longer appear, and rather it will remain a link for anyone who wants to revisit the video. After watching the videos, consumers will have better understanding of dynamic consent and can now take action to sign up.
Now, The signing up process is made as simple as possible through a simplified questionnaire, which will ask them about different aspects of their health data and provide consent for research. This questionnaire is simplified in the layout and contains simple questions in order to keep consumers engaged by not confusing them with too difficult language. The second and most important element of this questionnaire is that people get to provide one of 3 levels of consent for their specific realms of health data. These levels are explained in the video as mentioned earlier and are labelled with positive language in order to encourage people to engage in the research. As you can see, we have level 1, which would indicate a strong yes, level 2, which would be a conditional yes, and level 3, which would be no thank you. This would be useful for people who may not feel comfortable fully sharing their data. Maybe they would only feel comfortable, for example, sharing the past 5 years and onwards of their blood work, or maybe they do not feel comfortable because of any personal beliefs they have about their data. Through using these 3 levels of consent, we've made it more applicable to these different sort of personal beliefs. And furthermore, for new research opportunities, they do not have to go through this process over and over again, as they will be provided with an alert for future research opportunities.
The alert function works when there's a new research project and researchers need to get consent from participants. Now, we know researchers may have their consent packs, which IDIS yesterday told us about, a 3-4 pager full of text, which participants may not be interested in reading. We suggest to provide a template for researchers where they can just drag and drop their project aims, the data they need, who the sample is, and how this project benefits participants and the society. Users on the platform will get this summary of the project in an infographic style, and at the end of that summary they will be given a simple choice: would you like to share your data, or no, not this time? To nudge them to take the desired action, we'll be also showing them how many people have already agreed to participate in this project. Now, to track how many people or to track your participation with different projects, this is where the dashboard comes into play.
The dashboard is a landing page on subsequent visits to the platform and is the view that holds the platform together, helping users visualize the positive impact their data has on research projects to keep them motivated. At a glance, users can see what projects they have participated in, what data they have shared, where that data is being used, and the ability to edit consent levels and personal information. Contact information such as email and phone for researchers will be provided to facilitate a two-way communication and dynamic consent. Users will be awarded badges based on the number of research projects they have participated in, an intangible reward to provide a sense of achievement and satisfaction of helping others. The dashboard will empower users by giving their data a positive context and will show their impact of their data sharing through dynamic consent. So we're on to the evaluation. We presented a platform that does a lot, but results matter and need to be tracked, analysed and compared to show the effectiveness of our interventions. The rate of consent of research projects on the platform will be compared to other platforms and in-person forms to see how much more effective our solution is. The average number of research studies a patient engages in per platform can be tracked and compared to other research to examine the long-term dynamic consent levels of patients. Users will be randomly contacted for surveys to review platform features such as the dashboard, executive summary, and the first-time experience. Long-term user satisfaction for the website is paramount to its success, as it will lead to users to stay on the website for longer to consent to further research. And we'll get some parting words from Megan.
So, now that you know what your pizza is, it's your data, your say.